While everyone's eyes are focused on the presidential primary season, it's primary season for everyone. Why? Because it's always election season in America. Now, there are a lot of congressional races that are gonna be drawing interest. One drew our interest here. It is a story of Joshua Collins, who is running against a Blue Dog Democrat named Denny Heck in Washington's 10th district. And Joshua is here today. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
So we can't see it now, but your story is fascinating. You are a semi truck driver, and you're joining us from where today?
At a rest area on I-5 in California.
That's amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
so you are also 25 years old, and I'm sure people get focused. There was a write up in the Huffington Post about your personal story, and it's fascinating about why. But tell us why you're getting involved in this race.
The reason I'm getting involved is because my representative in one of the most progressive districts in the country, it's a very safe blue district. He is a very conservative Democrat. He won't support the Medicare for All plan. He won't support the Green New Deal and a lot of policies that progressives and the majority of the country supports. He refuses to support or he actively opposes. He has already said explicitly with Medicare for All, he will never support it, which means there's no pushing him, there's no influencing him and trying to pull him to the left. He's not going to support it because he's bought by the health insurance industry.
So I've seen that. I've seen the stats on Denny Heck is that since entering Congress in 2013, he's received about $500,000 from the healthcare industry,
yes.
$118,000 from agribusiness, $104,000 from the energy and natural resource sectors that include oil and gas companies. So when you saw that, what did it make you feel?
Well, they try to keep this narrative going that they can take all that money and still represent us. But no one believes that. I mean, it's like those days are over where people pretended that, the Democrats and the Republicans who are taking money from all these corporations are, not influenced by it. Me personally, I'm being funded by small donors, nurses, teachers, truck drivers, welders, etc. And, I actually want to go out and represent them. So when someone is, funded by $1.5 million every cycle from these large corporations, it only makes sense that he would go out and represent them.
All right, so let's talk about what you stand for. There's a bunch of issues that one of them is called the RUN Act. Could you explain what that is?
Yeah, so I kind of hyped this up on Twitter because I wanted people to tune in and find out about it today. The RUN Act stands for Revitalizing Unions Now. And what it is a plan to not only protect unions, as Bernie Sanders' plan of Democratizing Workplaces Act. It goes further than that. The biggest part of it is it provides federal funding to expand unemployment benefits to striking workers, so that if you are striking against a bad employer, you can still get by without having to, get behind on all your bills. The second thing, it subsidizes union dues by 100% for all active and retired union members by sending them either a check in the mail or with direct deposit, and it goes directly to the workers. And the third thing is to provide, federally funded training and administrative resources for new unionization efforts. If a union can't help with that, then the federal government will absolutely help with that. And the reason I am going for something like this is because I don't think we need to just protect unions. I don't think there's any, going back by just removing some of the, right to work laws, which I fully support. We need to ban right to work in every capacity, but we need to actually go the opposite way and catch up with countries like Sweden, Denmark, and a lot of these, progressive countries that we all look to as like the happiest countries with great healthcare and great working conditions. Well, they didn't get that way, by just having elected officials who, propose legislation. They also got that way by just having very strong and robust policies to protect unions. And that is why I'm proposing something like this.
So that's absolutely fantastic. What, in your experience, what has happened to unions recently that has motivated you to take this stance and to put it so far front and center in your campaign?
A number of things. One of the biggest things that's in the news right now is Walmart. Walmart, in particular, basically started the wave of union busting in this country by being one of the biggest employers and just constantly hitting their new employees and current employees with anti-union propaganda. They have reduced respect for how important unions are in this country, and I think it's so important that we, as we're talking about Walmart and we're talking about unionizing Walmart, we also unroll plans to expand unions to the rest of the country, to the other large businesses, especially who can afford to pay higher wages. And I don't want anyone who is has bought into this idea that you shouldn't have to pay into a union, even if you're benefiting from that. We can completely bypass that entire sentiment that basically lets Republicans get away with right to work by just federally funding all union dues, and that would send a clear message to the American people that in America we support workers.
Wow. Hi, Joshua. I'm Francesca. I love that. I'm fascinated by the RUN Act because you're going on the offense, really, and you don't see that a lot when it comes to unions. What about yourself? As a truck driver, are you part of a union?
No, myself, I've actually never had a union trucking job. Trucking, despite being one of the biggest blue collar industries in the country, there are nearly 4 million truck drivers. It's a very low unionization rate. I think if I remember correctly, it's under 10%. And most of those are local jobs rather than over-the-road jobs, which over-the-road jobs is where the worst and most egregious abuses happen. Personally, I'm actually an owner-operator, so I drive my own truck with my wife, who's also a truck driver. She's sleeping in the back. But I do think trucking, if trucking were unionized, we wouldn't have the concern about automation coming in and just destroying jobs and leaving a third of the industry, of the workers in the industry, just out to dry with no retirement benefits, no plan for what they're going to do after AI takes their job.
Well, Joshua Collins, running for Congress in Washington's 10th district. Where can people find you and support your campaign?
They can find me at joshua2020.com. And if you guys like the RUN Act, tweet #RunAct. We're trying to get it trending. So I have a bunch of other candidates for Congress and sitting politicians that are tweeting about it. So we're trying to get the word out about this, and just an idea about some more things that I support. I don't just support Medicare for all. I also support completely erasing all medical debt in this country. I don't just support student free college and trade school. I support erasing every penny of student debt in this country. So that is the approach I'm taking with my policies, is not just trying to defend or get the bare minimum. We're going to move the Overton window. We're going to fight to actually catch up with the rest of the world and improve the conditions for workers and just everyone in this country, instead of just taking the smallest step that we can. We're not going to beg for scraps. We're going to demand what our people deserve.
Awesome. Joshua Collins, thank you so much for joining us on The Damage Report.
Thanks.
Here on The Damage Report, we talk a lot about the big banks and their ways of getting rich off the poor. They saturate the market, but there are other options. And I've got info on a socially and environmentally responsible financial institution that has no ATM fees, gives you cash back on every purchase. They even commit 10% of their earnings to charity. It's called Aspiration, and if you go to aspiration.com/TYT to sign up, you'll get these perks, and that's more money to spend or to save or to spend. Just treat yourself.